We're going to go live in just a minute on the mainstream, and I will be taking calls. We got a lot to cover, because a lot is happening, and there's some stories I got to share. If you're new, my name is Brian. This is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. Oh yeah, a lot has happened. All right. Now, I'm just linking up in the description of the video a link to the mainstream here on YouTube. So if you go to the mainstream, you'll be able to see and hear all the video that I'm going to play and audio, and see the articles I share. On this stream, you'll just be able to see and hear me and the callers. Wow, there we go. Okay. All right, I'm going to start the mainstream up now, but like I said, if you go to the mainstream, you will be able to see and hear all the audio I play and everything. And I got to get something to drink. Hold on. All right, there we go. All right, I'm going to start the mainstream up now. A little early. I set it up to go live at 5, but I am starting it early. Welcome to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig, and this is Where MAGA Comes to Talk. And as always, we've got a lot to talk about. Welcome. If you're watching live, you can call in. The number's toll-free and pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. Before I get to the main topic, they're back. I'll tell you who's back and the dangers of that in just a few minutes. But I want to, I'll talk in more detail about this later in the program, but I want to just talk a little bit about what's going on in Portland, and I'm going to play a clip as well of, from Fox News about this. Okay, so, what's going on in Portland, I mean, it's insane to me. I was watching one of the local reporters there. These Antifa lunatics have been putting the ICE, or laying siege to the ICE facility there for 100 nights. So I guess today will be 101 nights. And they're violent. They're out of control. And, these liberal cities around the country that have all these lunatics in them, not everybody that lives in these cities like living in chaos. It doesn't mean they're not liberal, okay? Most people in Portland are liberal, But it doesn't mean they like to live in chaos where the streets are dangerous and every night it's like Night of the Living Dead and these lunatics are coming out. But regardless, everywhere in this country should be safe. But what we have going on here, we have 3 Democrat governors, and they have allies in their states, right? The governor of Oregon, the governor of Illinois, and the governor of California. Democrats all, they're complete lunatics. And what they're really doing is forming a new Democrat Confederate States of America, if you think about it. I'm going to play some of the video later. Benny Johnson was embedded with Kristi Noem doing some raids and work in Illinois, and you see what she's going through. They wouldn't even let her in to go to the bathroom. You see this? We'll get to all this later. But these three states not only are involved in forming their own three-state new Democrat Confederate States of America, by the liberal definition of MSNBC, CNN, and all the Democrats, the governor of California, the governor of Oregon, and the governor of Illinois are involved in an insurrection against the government of the United States, the federal government. They are interfering with government business, right? And not only are they interfering with government business, which they said was the definition, right? The definition of being an insurrectionist or leading an insurrection is, right, to interfere with government business. ICE is directly working for the President of the United States, and they're interfering. That, by definition, is an insurrection. And they're also encouraging the insurrection because they're out there encouraging people to resist ICE, all right? So anyone who's resisting ICE or doing all of these things like we're seeing in Portland and Chicago, we've seen in Los Angeles and other places, that is, by the definition of all the Democrats, interfering with government business, the government business of deporting illegals. That is an insurrection. Is it not by their definition on the left? Of course it is. So I want to go. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. All right, did I lose the feed there? Okay, we're back. Let me double check, and then we'll get going. Now, if you're on hold, hang in there. I've got some things I want to go over before I go to the phones, because there's so much has happened. Well, just today, a lot has happened. But since yesterday, even a lot more has happened. So if you're on hold, hang in there. And if you want to call in, the number's pinned in the live chat, 888-465-2631. So this is what I'm talking about. Listen. Yeah. Yeah, see, they're arresting conservative journalists for reporting the news. That is now a criminal offense in Portland, Oregon. And, one thing that people have to understand, as conservatives, we support the blue, we back the police and all that stuff. Don't assume the police are on our side, especially in these blue cities. The police are typically Democrats. You're in Democrat states and hardcore Democrat blue cities, and they're government workers. Chances are they are a Democrat. So, so when you see these cops arresting someone for committing the crime of reporting the news of journalism, you got to understand the only difference between Antifa and these cops in Portland is the cops in Portland have a badge and arrest powers. That's the only difference between them and Antifa. Notice I didn't say they're armed, because a lot of these Antifa are armed as well. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he gets assaulted. He gets physically assaulted, and he's the one that gets arrested. And to these police officers in Portland, they did their job. They're they're Antifa, basically. The cops are Antifa. Ah. Wow. Yeah, cuffing for getting hit. Well, we're going to find out because he's not going to let it go. It's about time we take back these cities from these anarchist and spoiled brats. Really, I mean, they did a bunch of arrests of Antifa in Portland, and I saw them without their masks on. What a bunch of freaks and geeks, weirdos, doughboys, soy boys, girls with green hair and blue hair, and these are not people you want to see without the mask, because a lot of them are pretty scary looking. They're you know what they are? They're when I was a kid, these were the goth kids. Goth kids grown up with nothing to do, nowhere to go, and very spoiled, probably have rich parents, and filled with anger. And it's about time that these Antifa people are put in their place. They are a domestic terrorist organization. There's no other way to say it. That's exactly what they are. And they've been running amok for years without any fear of anything happening to them. And they're probably pretty darn shocked that it's happening now, because these things just have not happened before. But President Trump, he's going around and he is taking control of these cities. Well, reestablishing law and order, I should say. Because these cities basically are an anarchy. By the way, you're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. My name is Brian Craig. This is where MAGA comes to talk. And the Brian Craig Show podcast is on all podcast platforms. Wherever you get your podcast, just go there and search the Brian Craig Show and I'll pop up. If you want to catch the show live, follow me on YouTube, Brian Craig Show on YouTube, and then you get the video version of the podcast. But the audio version is on all podcast platforms. But if you want to catch me live and call in or listen to the callers live, go to my YouTube channel and I stream the podcast live there, Brian Craig Show on YouTube. So what President Trump is doing is restoring order to these cities, and a lot of them haven't had order in them in a long time. I was watching a reporter, I can't remember from what outlet, not the Daily Wire, the Daily Signal. I saw a girl reporter this morning from the Daily Signal in El Paso, Texas. And the Daily Signal has been doing a lot of reporting over the past several years in El Paso. And they were showing what El Paso was like on their previous reports in the last 3-4 years. And it was overrun with illegals living in the streets all over the town. You couldn't even see the town because there were so many illegals on the sidewalks and in the streets, and there were arrests and everything else. It was really a bad place. And then they showed El Paso this week. It is a beautiful town. It looks like some kind of art community that you want to go to on the weekend and go antiquing in, because the border's shut down. It's not overloaded with illegals. And this is the Daily Signal. It was on YouTube. If you want to look this up on YouTube, you can find that. And they were interviewing people from El Paso, and they're Hispanic Americans with heavy accents, and they're so excited that their city is safe again. It was a night and day. And what President Trump is doing is he is restoring order to all these cities around the country. El Paso and these border towns are experiencing it. Washington, D.C., Portland is in the beginning stages, and Chicago in the beginning stages of this happening, because they've just started going in there. And this is the way it should be. You know, the way I describe what President Trump is doing is there's a lot. Well, there's several things. One, there's the great, the Make America Great Again movement. What this aspect of it is a great American reset. He's resetting everything in the United States back to normal from these racist, anti-American lunatics that have been running the country. That's a big one. I mean, that's, of course, a big one. But he's also reclaiming occupied territory that's being occupied not just by illegals by the millions, because they're all over the place, but also being occupied by these Antifa anarchists that have been just causing all kinds of havoc in our major cities for years. And people sit around and say, oh, what's Antifa? They don't exist. They keep telling you, they gaslight everybody. Even Biden, right? The gaslight. Oh, Antifa doesn't exist. It's not an it's an idea. Yeah, really. Well, what are these people with bricks and torches and masks and all these funny clothes that they're wearing, right? I mean, what that's an idea? No, they're a terrorist organization. Now they may be loose, but somebody tells them to be there. Someone brings the pallets of bricks. There's a lot of coordination there, much more than has ever been discussed before. But they're in trouble now. So Trump is reclaiming these cities from the occupation, from the illegals, and from the domestic terrorist organization Antifa. So I mean, look at this story right here as an example. This is the Associated Press. Trump plans to deploy National Guard in Illinois, the governor says. President Trump is going to federalize the National Guard in Illinois. Federalize them and take them away from the control of this anarchist governor here, right? And not only that, I know that's a big move. So they're going to be taken off the governor's hands. But not only that, he is also, the president, federalizing the National Guard in Oregon as well, and sending them into Portland. Now, if you're watching on the live stream with the green behind me, if you want to catch all the audio and video that I share, go to my main stream. There is a link in the description of that video with the green behind me. That'll take you to my main link. Listen here, this is Tom Holman with McEnany. That's right. That's right. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, this is amazing. So you see what Holman's saying there is the National Guard, the media will tell you, well, no, they can't they're not arresting people. They're there for backup with the police. The police and the federal agents, they do the arresting. The Army, they're just in the background, little backup, and just in case. And there's also, a de-escalation because these Antifas, they're afraid. They're cowards. That's why they wear masks. They're little girls. They've only been acting tough because no one was arresting them. All right, I'll take some calls before the first break. The number is toll-free, 888-465-2631. It's a toll-free call, no matter where you're tuned in from. 888-465-2631. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hey, Brian. It's me in Florida. How can you excuse the raids of these homes off of South Shore in Chicago where they zip-tied children in the middle of the night?
I was waiting. If you have some comment on something I brought up, you're welcome, but...
You brought it up.
No, I'm not here to be interviewed. I'm not here to be interviewed by you.
Rip children?
All right, appreciate the call. You're on the air. No, I don't, actually. I take that back. I just said thank you for the call out of habit. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Doc from Texas.
Hey, Texas, what's up?
How you doing today, my man?
All right.
All right. Hey, quick question. I see you have your Trump 28 hat on.
Correct.
You know he can't run. You know he can't run in 28 yet.
Nope. No, he can.
No, he can't.
Sure he can.
I know he does it. Mm-hmm. You do it. He does it just to make people mad. But he can't run. He's not running. So
sure he can.
That's all I'm saying.
Sure he can.
No, he can't. I'm not even arguing with you. You know he can't. And you know he can't.
Yeah, he can.
And he gonna get J.D. Vance, and J.D. Vance is gonna get his butt whipped. So
by who?
It's all good.
By who? Who's gonna beat them?
I think I'm gonna run. I think I'm
everyone.
Run.
Who do you have? What Democrat do you have that could go up against J.D. Vance or President Trump in an election and win?
J.D. Vance. So I think I'm gonna run.
Everyone, name one. Who is? You know, we got a lot of great people. Who do you have that could win a national election? Give me a name.
Jasmine Crockett.
Jasmine Crockett,
buddy.
Jasmine Crockett. She doesn't even have a congressional district anymore. She's a congresswoman without a district.
They stole it from her.
So how is?
Stole it from
no, they didn't. No, they redistrict. It's called redistricting. That's called redistricting. What is Jasmine Crockett's platform? Wait, excuse me. What is the platform of Jasmine Crockett that she would run on that would defeat Trump or J.D. Vance? What would be? Oh, he hung up. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Oh, man, I don't know what some of these callers. This is, hi, Brian. This is Sean from Massachusetts.
Hey, Sean. The last guy hung up, unfortunately. It's too bad.
Yeah.
He was getting ready to tell. He wanted to put Jasmine Crockett up as the Democrat nominee against Trump and JD next time around, and I was just asking him what her platform that she would run on that would defeat MAGA, but he hung up.
A woman that doesn't even have a position anymore is going to win. Sure.
That's right. A congresswoman without a district.
Right. Yeah. That makes a lot of sense. You know, that's just the Democrats today, and this whole thing.
Hold on one second as I answer these.
And
other ones. Yeah. Go ahead.
Oh yeah. I just think I know that what Trump's doing is the greatest thing we've seen in a long time, because this has been addressed for the longest time by many different administrations, and finally we're seeing it happening right in action. And everything that's happened in Portland's finally, they've been talking a lot of trash, these deep staters and everybody that's out there.
Well, you're right. These domestic terrorists known as Antifa have been for, tonight will be 101 nights, I believe, either 100 or 101 nights. They've been terrorizing the ICE headquarters in Portland. And just in the last couple of days, for the first time, they've been arrested for their violent acts, and I think they're in shock. They're going to have a hard time getting these lunatic kids from Antifa to show up every night if there's going to be consequences.
Well, yeah. Once they see action like that, this fake courage that they show is gone. I mean, they were beating their chests before because there was nothing happening to them.
That's right.
And the police there weren't doing anything, and now we're seeing action. And shame on the politicians. The governor of Oregon. I mean, by the way, I appreciate the call. She keeps talking about how peaceful it is in Oregon, and I see the cities burning down every night. I guess she doesn't go to that part of Portland. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hello?
Yes.
Yes. My name is Greg from Philadelphia.
Okay.
How are you doing?
I'm doing all right. What's on your mind?
So, just questioning your title, the title of your show today. You said Trump saved Chicago.
Correct. He's saving Chicago. He's saving America.
That. Yeah, I disagree with the premise of the statement that he's saving Chicago, because ICE agents detained American citizens.
Really?
I don't know if you're aware of that.
They deported They arrested and deported American citizens?
No, they detained an apartment full of American citizens.
They detained. Let me ask you. I don't know. Are you old enough to drive a car?
Yes, I am.
Have you ever been stopped, like for speeding or stop sign? You ever gotten a ticket?
Sure.
You've been detained.
Okay.
You were detained. You were detained by the police. Uh-oh. Constitution violated there? Was anyone in the car?
Yeah.
Was anyone in the car with you?
Yeah.
They were detained too, and they weren't even driving. The traffic infraction was yours, yet the person in the car with you, they were detained too. Oh my goodness. Maybe get the ACLU on the line.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying, but I'm not sure what that has to do with it.
Well, because you know what it has to do with it. It just doesn't fit your narrow-minded agenda. Who are these Americans that have been?
No.
Who are these Americans that have been deported? Who are these Americans that have been deported?
I'm not saying that these Americans were deported. They were just brutalized.
Brutalized? You mean there's an American citizen? Wait, hold on a second. Hold on a second. I'm going to go viral. Hey, no, excuse me. I'm about to go viral. I got news. I've got news that. Hold on a second. You're going to help me go viral. I'm going to go viral. Excuse me. You are going to help me go viral. Because you just told me something that nobody's heard. Are you there?
I'm not understanding how I was made safer. Yes.
Okay. No, you're going to make me go viral. This is cool. You just told me something
I'm not
that is.
understanding how the streets were made safer.
You just shared something with me that has not been reported in the news, and we are going to break news here. You just referenced something that no one's.
It has been reported in the news.
You said Americans have been beaten by ICE.
Americans have been brutalized.
Brutalized.
By ICE.
What American has been brutalized means a physical thing. What American has been beaten up by ICE?
Oh my God! This has been going on. No,
you mean that some American citizen was in their home doing nothing, just watching TV or watching YouTube or something,
yes,
maybe,
in Chicago.
And ICE just broke into their house and beat them up and brutalized them? Who did they do this to?
Yes, in search of undocumented immigrants.
So I understand. So there were some people that were Americans that were hanging out with federal fugitives from justice and federal agents. Yes. Illegals are federal fugitives. That's different.
They happen to live in an apartment building that was also occupied by by undocumented immigrants.
Federal fugitives. Undocumented immigrants are federal fugitives.
Is that their fault?
If you were in a building and the police come in and they're busting a crack house and you're in the crack house, they're going to check you out to make sure you're not involved with the crack dealers.
It's a crime to be impoverished and by
I think it's a crime that somebody like you has a driver's license and can drive a car with the low intellect that you have.
Okay, all right, okay, that's a non sequitur. But let's get back to.
No, I'm moving. Hey, listen, I appreciate the call. Take care. All right, let's go here. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
What's up, man? My name is Donald. I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Donald, like Donald Trump. That's a great first name you have. Same name as the president. You must be proud.
No, fuck this name. Anyways, I got a couple questions for you. How much do you know about World War II?
I know a lot, but that has nothing to do with what I've been talking about on the program today.
A lot.
But when I call the Donald Show in Texas, you can talk about World War II.
Let me ask you this.
No, I'm not. No, you're not going to. I'm not answering any questions from you.
So you're scared?
No, you can comment on something I brought up on the program. No,
I'm not commenting.
You can comment on a topic that I brought up, and I'm happy to talk about that. But he hung up too. Oh, sorry. I do take calls here, but I'm not handing the show over to lunatics, losers. And that one guy, I guess a guy that gets pulled over by the cops because he's got some problems on the road. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Hi, Brian. This is Nick out of Baltimore.
Hey, Nick. How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
All right.
I'm doing great. A great show. I hear these young people calling, and man, I'll tell you, the media's really done a good job of brainwashing.
Oh, haven't they? Oh boy, no doubt.
I mean, what you're giving the real news as to what's going on. I was watching the video last night, half the night. I had it on as I was going to sleep, and out in Portland, and then they had a split screen going on in Chicago, Portland, and I think Los Angeles, if I'm not mistaken. And President Trump is cleaning the whole country up. And I'm just waiting for them to come here.
Oh, Baltimore.
These crimes out of control. Oh my God. Well, you know what's going to happen. We're going to be here last because they're going to get to all the every place else, and then we'll be last because all the crime is going to come here. The ones that aren't thrown in jail. But, people are so... I'm just amazed at how people are so uninformed, and how can you hate a man or an administration that's bringing back prosperity for everyone?
Well, with some of these callers, if you listen to some of these callers, Nick, these are... Oh, hold on a second. These are young guys that are like these Antifa. They're young guys that obviously have... no discipline in their life, and they, and Donald Trump represents rules and the father they never had, and they just don't understand.
I think I agree with you because I know when I was in school, we had heavy discipline in school and everywhere. There were standards. I mean, I keep saying it. When I was growing up, even here, the schools were really top notch. I went to one. And if you didn't for whatever reason, you failed, and you had to repeat a grade.
Yeah, I know. I used to get paddled in school. I don't know if any of you guys ever got paddled in school. I used to get paddled.
Oh yeah, we used to get that.
Yeah.
We used to get that.
They should bring that back.
This is back in the 60s.
Yeah, they should bring that back.
Yeah, I mean, there were lines you didn't cross, and now, and the other thing, Brian, is when I went to school, you didn't have to worry about you were going to get shot.
Yeah.
You were totally safe in school. I mean,
that's true.
I don't know.
Well, to get back on track. Hey, Nick, I looked at the clock. I got to run for a break, but I do appreciate the call. Okay, all right, take it. Right. The rest of you want to hold, hang in there. If you want to call in. The toll-free number is pinned in the live chat. Now, if you'd like to support my program, become a Patreon supporter. If you become a Patreon supporter, you get access to commercial-free editions of all of my podcast episodes. And you also get access to exclusive content on my Patreon page that my wife and I post up there regularly. And if you'd like to become a Patreon supporter, there's a link in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're tuned in on. And if you're a top Patreon supporter, you get a live on-air thank you shout out on each and every podcast episode. So the names you'll hear now are my top Patreon supporters. I want to thank SFjr, Christine, ETW, Chuck, Pamela, Nick, who I was just talking to, Wesley, Doris, Heather, David, Maria in Texas, Alice, LeeZep, Shawna, George, Brandon, John, Frank, Dale, Tina, David, Laura, Rob, Wes, Sue, Janice, Teresa, and our newest top Patreon supporter, Irene, who I'm going to add your name, Irene, to the list up on the screen with the rest of the top Patreon supporters. Irene, our latest top Patreon supporter, welcome. So again, if you'd like to support the program and become a Patreon supporter, there is a link in the description of the episode on whatever platform you're tuned in on. All right, we're going to take our first break and be back. If you're on hold, stand by, back with your calls and much more right after this. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast. Calls on hold, standby. I wanted to bring this up because this is, you know, in the on YouTube, I have the thumbnail that says they're back. Well, who's back? The Bushes. Jonathan Bush, who's, of course, one of the Bush family. He's like billionaire, you know, of course, and all this stuff. And, you know, I can't get the ad blocker to let me see the article for some reason. There's an ad blocker popping up. I don't need to read through the article. I just want to tell you about this. There's, you know, these Republican establishment people, the Bush family, have been a big part of running this whole operation against Trump the last 10 years. You guys know this, okay? The Republican establishment haven't just gone out of business. They're planning a comeback. And they're planning it through the Bush family. The Bush family looking to get their way back in. And this Jonathan Bush, they've been celebrating him the last couple of days. And it's very important when, you know, when these next couple of election cycles are very, very important. And the Republican establishment, you got to keep your eye out on this. The Republican establishment, and when I say the Republican establishment, I mean the Bush wing of the Republican Party, they're not accepting that MAGA is here to stay, okay? This is what they tell themselves. They tell themselves this. Well, you know, when Trump's out of office, he'll be retired and the movement will fall apart when they don't have that strong leader. Now everything they've tried to do to bring MAGA down has only made us bigger and stronger, but they're making a move. And this is a big move because they get him, you know, Jonathan Bush, he's going to be running for the governor of Maine, right? And once that happens, that's the stepping stone to run for president. Jeb's out. Jonathan Bush, he's the next one, and they're trying to make their way back in. And they're good. And when we get into the next presidential election cycle, the next couple of midterm election cycles, this one and the one after the, you know, I guess the next one will be 34 after this midterm. These Bush Republicans are going to try very hard to get in. And you got to be very careful because there's going to be a lot of fake MAGA out there that are really Bush people. You know, we've got a great bench of good MAGA people in the Bush cabinet. I'm sorry, in the Trump cabinet. But there's one person in particular that I'm not so sure about, and that, of course, is Pam Bondi. Pam Bondi came up through the Florida Republican Party, which in the Florida Republican Party since the 90s has been controlled by Jeb Bush. So but everybody else is trustworthy, but her I'm a little worried about. Maybe why she hasn't rushed to get us those indictments that we want, Pam Bondi. I don't know. But I do know this, that if we get these Bush Republicans back and start being friendly with them, and this Jonathan Bush hasn't spoken yet, he has not officially announced yet, he's expected to announce. Don't be fooled just because he's going to go out there and say some MAGA things, okay? Just because he says things that we want to hear doesn't mean you want to support him, all right? And these are things we've got to be very careful about. Now, I want to share, if you're on hold, hang in there. I want to share this. This is Benny Johnson talking to Kristi Noem. Now, he was embedded with Kristi Noem in Illinois. Mm-hmm. That's right. Yeah, you know, Kristi Noem's awesome, isn't she? You know, what she's talking about is we have a safe country because we've got a president that's going to make us safe. You know, the Democrats, and, you know, hey, listen, out of these we had 8 years of Obama, then we had 4 years of Trump, then 4 years of the auto pen Biden, right? That's 12 years of Democrat rule that was catering not just to these illegal MS-13ers and Trinde guys, but also these anarchist, domestic terrorists, and criminals out there. So our country, except for President Trump's first term, for the last 16 years, 12 of those years, it's been run by people whose, Obama, Biden, people whose constituency are these anarchists and criminals. That's right. That's right. Yeah, I mean, isn't she awesome? I mean, she's really great, and these evil people that put this weirdo patsy up that assassinated Charlie Kirk. I don't think they had, like everything else, everything they've done has backfired on them. Now, sadly, Charlie Kirk's no longer with us, but look at what has happened. He's more influential than he ever was. Right? It's like Obi-Wan Kenobi in Star Wars. If you strike me down, I'll become more powerful than you can. That's what's happened with Charlie Kirk. He's literally a Jedi. All right, let's go. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Jeremy.
Okay.
I got pudding.
Okay, well, that's good. All right. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
My name is John. I'm from Georgia.
Hey, John. What's up?
Hey, I was just wondering if you've ever felt like the warm embrace of a man during anal sex.
Yeah, no. But obviously you have. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
This is Mike from Louisiana.
Hey, Mike. What's up?
Basically, look, here's the deal with Christy Nome. She's basically did a comeback from what she said about that little story she told about a dog that she had. But yeah, this is she's really good. We have a good bench with her and some other ones in the MAGA movement, and that's the thing. And about this Bush guy up there in Maine, the thing is think about it. Trump basically made Jeb look like a fool in the first time. His son, who wanted to be the AG of Texas, got beat by Ken Paxton. So that's a number 2 guy.
They're always trying to make the way back, and I appreciate the call. A lot of people say, well, you guys, you're against these political dynasties. What about the Trumps? Barron could be president one day, but there's a difference between the Trump political dynasty, if we have one, and if we're lucky, we will, and the Bush dynasty. Can you tell me something positive that the Bushes have done for this country? Think about it. Think about it. Can you think of something that they've done that's positive? Bush won his presidency, Desert Storm gave us years of war in Iraq later on when his son lied about WMDs. His Bush 2, W is a war criminal. His dad set the stage for the war criminal activities of his son. They've done nothing. Nothing positive. The Trump family, on the other hand, look at what Trump has done. So when someone from Trump's family runs for president or Congress or governor or something in the future, you can point to what they've done, right? Trump shut down the border. He's taken on these cartels. Right now, they're talking about sending U.S. military on the ground to take over areas held by the cartels in Venezuela. All these things that are going on, ending crime in these blue cities, defeating the domestic terrorist organization as Antifa, which will be an accomplishment, overturning Roe v. Wade, ending crime in all our blue cities, so many things. But what can you point to that's positive that the Bush family, with all their years in power, have done for the American people? You'd be hard-pressed, wouldn't you? Yeah, you most definitely would. No doubt about that. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. All right, guys, I am back. You're listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. If you're on hold, hang in there. If you'd like to call in, the number is pinned in the live chat. Okay, so this government shutdown, let me play a little bit of this. This is MSNBC on the government shutdown. Okay, now this is amazing. You got to wonder what this kind of they don't know who Hakeem Jeffries is. They're going to blame Trump and Trump alone. I don't know who this snooty, snobby liberal guy is on MS13BC here, but you notice how stupid liberals think you are? I mean, those of you out there that are Democrats, those of you that are liberal, those of you that are MSNBC, CNN watchers, those types of people, progressives, whatever you want to call yourselves, they think you're stupid. They think you don't know who Hakeem Jeffries is, and you're going to blame Trump for something they're responsible for, right? and he's openly talking down to the liberals in the audience. It's just like the other day in the White House press conference with J.D. Vance, and he made such a great point that no one had picked up on. I hadn't thought of it myself. No one did except J.D. Vance. J.D. Vance, he says he was watching, it was one of the network news, and they showed the AI-generated video that President Trump put out of Hakeem Jeffries in the sombrero with the mustache. And he said on the screen, it said, this is an AI-generated image. He says, they think that the people that are watching them are so stupid, they think that Hakeem Jeffries came to a meeting at the White House with a sombrero on and a big curly mustache? That's how stupid they think you are. You're on the air. Oh, hold on. No, you're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
I'm calling from Bay, Wisconsin. I just want to say how great the president's doing. I share a birthday with the president, and I think he's doing a great job. And you know what? I haven't been this excited about a president since I found out that my eighth great grandfather was the signer of the Declaration of Independence. So
really? You are the descendant?
Really cool.
Who signed the Declaration of Independence that you're the grandchild of?
William Francis Lightfoot.
Oh, Lightfoot? Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited. I've been a listener. I found you back in 2019, so I've been a long-time listener, and I'm really glad that you're not afraid to say what's on your mind. You know, you have the cojones to put these liberals in their place, and let them know that we're not afraid of them anymore, and we're going to take our country back.
Wow, he died. I looked him up. He died in 1860, so he lived a long time.
Yep. So I found out, I had...
No, that was his son. That was his son. No, that wasn't him.
Yep, that was his son. He was a great man.
He died in 1797. 1797.
Yep. So I was, I didn't realize that I had that much lineage until my aunt pointed that out to me, and it's really cool that I have that lineage, and I'm a long-time Republican. I woke up when I found out how dirty the Clintons were. So.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, I know. I mean, they're dirty.
Before that, but
they're as dirty as dirty gets. Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, it's good. Well, that's something to be. Well, I appreciate that, and you've got a great family history to be proud of. All right, take care. Thanks for the call. If you're on hold, stand by. I want to share this Senator Kelly jerk. He left his brain in space when he was an astronaut. He goes on CNN and says something that he knows 100% to be false and just lies to his constituents and, of course, the country. And Caitlin Collins, I don't think she's going to correct him. Or maybe. We'll see. Let's see. Let's see if she does her journalistic duty and corrects him. Okay, this is he's in the Senate, so he knows exactly what's going on here. Okay, exactly what's going on. The Senate has all kinds of weird rules. You can't get things like this passed in the Senate with a simple 51 vote majority. You have to have a 60 vote majority to avoid this filibuster. They got all these weird rules in the Senate. And all the Republicans are on board with the budget, but they can't get one Democrat to cross the line and vote with the Republicans to get the budget through. And he knows that. And Caitlin Collins just sits there and lets him say it without correcting him. Because they, like that guy from MSNBC who thinks you don't know who Hakeem Jeffries is, right? Right? Or that network that has to tell you that the sombrero video is AI generated and Hakeem Jeffries didn't really wear that sombrero to the White House. They think you're stupid on CNN too. Caitlin Collins and Senator Kelly there think that you don't know how the Senate works and they can tell you whatever you want. They really, if we had our Republicans, like our Republican leaders, I'm not talking about the Bush Republicans, I mean like President Trump and MAGA people, if they were talking down to us like that, that would piss us off. They don't talk down to us, but if they did, wouldn't it piss you off? Now here's two wonderful guys, Gavin Newsom, and Eric Holder, who was Attorney General for a time. Eric Holder, the last guy he mentioned when he found out how dirty the Clintons were. Eric Holder was Deputy Attorney General under Clinton when Janet Reno was Attorney General, and he was involved in all kinds of funny, very questionable pardons. There was a lot of talk of the Clintons selling pardons, and he was pushing all the pardons through. They have these auto pen pardon scandal now. Eric Holder was involved in a Clinton pardon scandal. Remember Denise Rich and all that stuff, you guys that are old enough to remember. And then when he left the Clinton administration, during the 8 years of Bush, he worked for a private law firm, Eric Holder here, and this is that's speaking with Gavin Newsom, talking about the patriotism and morality of President Trump, as you'll hear in this clip. When Eric Holder left the Clinton White House during the 8 years of Bush, before Obama, he got a job at a private law firm, and he personally represented Al-Qaeda terrorists that were being held in Guantanamo Bay. So he's an attorney for terrorists, literal terrorists. And he's going to sit here with Gavin Newsom and question Trump's legitimacy and patriotism. Yeah, who we say we are here, and this is from a man who was an attorney for terrorists in Guantanamo Bay. And I know, some idiot liberal listening may say, well, isn't everyone entitled to a defense? Well, first off, we're talking about enemy combatants with the terrorists. That was their official designation. They're not American citizens in this country that have the constitutional guarantees. But yeah, everybody is entitled to a defense, but you as an attorney are not obliged to defend them. I knew a guy, he passed away many years ago, but he was an attorney, a defense attorney, very good. Some of you longtime listeners may remember attorney Richard Essen? This guy, Richard Essen, he was a DUI attorney. He never lost a case, And I mean, I remember once he had a client that was an airline pilot who killed a child, a baby, drunk, and he got him found not guilty. He was like a top defense attorney. I know it's pretty low life, right? We used to have him on the radio all the time. And he would not take cases of sex assault. He wouldn't represent those who were accused of any type of sexual assault, especially on children. And the reason he wouldn't do that, he says, I'm too good. He says they'll get found not guilty with me. And I'm not going to do that. He didn't mind representing people that killed people while they were driving drunk, but he drew the line at that. So Eric Holder, who's sitting around talking about what kind of person Donald Trump is, how dare he, when he was representing the people that brought down those buildings, hit the Pentagon and brought that plane down in Pennsylvania and took arms up against U.S. soldiers in Afghanistan, and we know what the Taliban did to their own people and have done since. And Al Qaeda, of course, in Al Qaeda, they're allied. And he's sitting there passing judgment with Gavin Newsom on the great President Trump? I don't think so. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Yeah, my name is Eric. I'm calling from Texas.
Yeah, what's up?
So you're over here trying to justify that an individual from Guantanamo Bay shouldn't be represented by an attorney, but yet you use an example of an attorney who defended a pilot who killed a child, but then says he won't represent sex offenders because they offend against children. Don't you think it's kind of ironic, though, he'll defend the death of a child?
Well, he doesn't defend anyone now because he's dead. But the reason I use that example, which is a true story, and I know him because he used to come on the radio. It shows that as an attorney, you're not obligated to represent certain types of people. You don't have to represent anyone if you're an attorney. So Eric Holder was defending Al Qaeda terrorists in Guantanamo Bay. How dare someone who does that pass moral judgment on this great president, Donald Trump, who literally took a bullet for this country?
How did he take a bullet for the country?
Butler, Pennsylvania, you are familiar. They shot you. The Never Trumpers shot him.
I know, but how was that for the country? Explain to me how the United States of America is a better country because Donald Trump was shot in the ear.
Well, see, when you are as sick and twisted in the mind as you are, you'll never understand, but I'm going to explain it anyway.
So, see, now you want to come at insults and say I'm sick and twisted in the mind.
No, I'm not. It's not an insult. No,
the United States of America
I heard the question the first time.
Better because Donald Trump got shot in the ear.
I heard it the first time.
Yes, you have a president that wants to go ahead.
Excuse me. I heard the question the first time. Just because you're mentally impaired does not mean that I'm hearing impaired, okay? I'm going to answer your stupid question. Everything President Trump is doing right now, whether it's rounding up these Antifa terrorists, ridding American cities of crime, or of the he hung up. He hung up. Yes, but I'm still here. Okay. You could be part of the conversation, but you hung up. Everything that President Trump is doing, securing the border, ending child and sex trafficking through the southern border, taking out the drug cartel boats, shutting down the cartels in Venezuela, all these things, whatever it is he's doing. They shot him to try to stop him from doing these things. You got to understand that. The Never Trumpers shot him in Butler. And then they tried to do it again at the golf course, right? They shot him once, and then they came back a second time at the golf course. Let's see, this might be the same guy who's going to claim that I hung up on him or something. You're on the air. What's your name? Where are you calling from?
Well, you said that I had a stupid question. Let me ask you, when is Trump going to go after the Proud Boys, who the FBI has
we're not talking right now. Right now, it's your liberal friends in Antifa that are attacking federal agents.
Again, why are you trying to avoid the question about the Proud Boys?
Because you don't ask the question.
Want to go ahead and continue?
No, because if you look on your screen above my head, it says the Brian Craig Show. It doesn't say the brain dead idiot on the phone show. Okay. And I'm not talking about the Proud Boys. I'm talking about something else. On your show, you can talk about the Proud Boys all day, all right? But I'm not talking about the Proud Boys.
I thought so. I thought you would go ahead and try to talk around that because you have no argument for it.
No, I've got plenty of argument. That's just not the topic that's on the table. Right now, it's Antifa that are attacking federal agents. And not only attacking federal agents, they're endangering your precious illegals that are in these ICE detention centers as well. In fact, one of these leftists shot up some of your precious illegal aliens in Dallas a couple weeks back, if you remember. All right, now if you're on hold, hang in there. Let me share this this clip here. This is AOC. Listen to this, AOC. from their country. ICE is arresting illegals in our country. It's the illegals' country now? Who's fighting? What Republican is fighting against LGBT rights? What rights do lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgenders have that are being taken away from them? Let me know. Call me. I'd love to hear it. Okay. You can still get abortions, AOC. When she talks about consequences, what does she mean? What are these consequences that she's talking about? You know, I was talking at the beginning of the podcast. Right now, the governor of California, the governor of Oregon, and the governor of Illinois are involved in an organized insurrection against the federal government. They are encouraging and openly obstructing federal agents from Immigration Customs Enforcement with the authority of the President of the United States, following his orders, from completing government business. They're interfering with government business. In fact, the whole Democrat Party is interfering with government business by shutting down the federal government, by the way. Do you know that members of the United States military are not getting paid right now because of the Democrats? They're not getting paid right now because of the Democrats. They're interrupting government business. Does that mean they're insurrectionists? That's what they said after January 6th. If you're on hold, hang in there. We'll be right back. All right, welcome back, everyone. My name's Brian. This is the Brian Craig Show podcast, available on all podcast platforms. I want to talk about Dr. Philip Appleton and his laser wave pain treatment. Now, those of you that listen to me all the time, you know Dr. Appleton has rid me of pain 7 times. 3 times in my shoulder, my knee, arthritis. There's been some other injuries. And, well, the arthritis is from just growing old. And I'm living pain-free now because not only did he rid me of pain without drugs, without surgery, without downtime. Oh, did I mention shots? Because a lot of people get shots for pain. None of that, because the robotic laser is completely painless. You don't even feel it when it's happening. But the robotic laser with Dr. Appleton repairs the damage in your body that is causing you the pain. And that's why when he's rid me of pain, the pain is not returned. It works on every type of pain I've ever heard of. I'm going to go through a list that is, this is a very incomplete list, but these are some of the most common pains that Dr. Appleton can treat. Now, we've had listeners travel from all over the United States to see Dr. Appleton. He's that good, guys, I'm here to tell you. Acute and chronic pain, herniated disc, rotary tears, plantar fasciitis, fibromyalgia, spinal stenosis, sciatica, tinnitus, knee pain, that's what I had, a knee condition, neck pain, neck injuries, back injuries, post-surgical swelling, repetitive motion injuries, strains and sprains, work and sports injuries, arthritis and bursitis. Maybe you have aches and pains that are the result of a car accident you were in. All these pains and more, you can say bye-bye to your pain with Dr. Philip Appleton. And remember, appointments are not necessary and walk-ins are always welcome. Give him a call, 954-973-0710. 954-973-0710. The consultation is always free. So go in, see Dr. Appleton, and let him tell you how he can give you back your life living pain-free. 954-973-0710. And online, AppletonCairo.com. All right, callers on hold. You stand by. So I was talking about this insurrection going on with the governor of Illinois, the governor of California, and this is the governor of Oregon with Rachel Maddow. Really, then what's all this attacking journalists in the streets? The fires every night, laying siege to a government building for 100 nights in a row. Is that beautiful to her? Is that peaceful? Is that orderly? Yes, there is. Yeah, well, because federal buildings and federal officers are under attack. And what he's doing is going there defending the officers that he has sent there. Now, I'm not sure if you... Let me pull this up. This was completely insane. So, Kristi Noem is in Illinois, and she goes to use the bathroom, and they won't let her. Watch. This is crazy. Watch this. Benny Johnson captured this. She is going up to the city hall in Broadview, Illinois, and they won't let her in. Listen to this. Hear that? They're yelling. She is the Secretary of Homeland Security, and they're yelling at her. Listen. There's a city hall yelling at the Secretary of Homeland Security and federal agents, mind you. Yeah, it's very bizarre. Yeah. Unbelievable. Broadmoor, she said. Broadview. Yeah. There's nothing lower than a police officer who won't give backup to other law enforcement, right? I mean, that's really low life. That really is. And I'm not talking about them not letting her use the bathroom. That's bad enough. But she says that they're not responding to give them backup on these felony arrests they're doing. Because in these liberal cities, you have Antifa running the police departments in the local cities. Now, I wanted to show you guys this. Those of you watching on YouTube, you can see this. These are Antifa people that the feds have just arrested, and they have them lined up there, and you can see geeks. And one thing I notice here, all of the Antifa people that they've arrested, except maybe, are they all... Let's see here. Yeah, they're all white. They're all white. All of these Antifa people they arrested are white. Is Antifa a white supremacist organization? Because all the Antifas that they've arrested so far, they've all been Caucasian. What's that about? Does Antifa not allow non-white people in their ranks? Does anyone know? This is something I just kind of realized myself, because they've always wearing the masks, and now we're getting to see them. Yeah, it's like a one. Now I know that they do ally themselves in some operations with Black Lives Matter, but anytime I see these Antifa arrests, they're all white. So I'm starting to think, a guy was calling about Proud Boy. I'm starting to think that they're a white supremacist organization, Antifa. My name's Brian Craig. You are listening to the Brian Craig Show podcast. This is where MAGA comes to talk. If you're on hold, stand by. I'll be back next time. And if you're on hold, you'll be first in line on the next program. This is where MAGA comes to talk. Thanks for listening, and I will talk to you next time.